In this video, I will demonstrate the fluidOps self-service portal and the self-service catalog from an administrator's point of view. So in an earlier video, we looked at the user's point of view on the portal, and now we'll have a look at how this is set up and how this works behind the scenes. So I have a eCloud Manager instance running here with some infrastructure providers, and the first thing I'm going to do is to go to the services dashboard, and from here I go to a setup page. This page shows me a table of all the organizations that participate in the self-service. So in this case, we have the organization Fluid Operations, and down here I have the services that are defined. So I have infrastructure as a service. That's something that we saw from the self-service user perspective already. We have things like landscape as a service, and we also have a bunch of other services. Two services are very important. First of all, there's the marketplace service. The marketplace service is in essence what I'm looking at right now. So this is a service that lets me define who gets to see what in the portal. And we can see that this infrastructure as a service was published to organizations already. So let's have a look at this one here. Say publish. And we see, okay, you can select Fluid Operations here, and I give Fluid Operations the right to republish the service in case they're a reseller. So maybe let's deselect this one here. And Fluid Operations is allowed to consume the service. And from here I can go on and just say initialize the marketplace. So now basically at this point, if I have a user that's part of the Fluid Operations organization, they will see the service in the catalog, in their service catalog that's displayed in the portal. Apart from the services, there's a concept of products. So products are things like golden images, golden landscapes, which we see here. So golden landscapes are collections of golden images that comprise an enterprise application. There are deployment zones that allow me to define infrastructure that is combined into a certain zone or region. And finally, there's the services themselves. And on these products, I can define certain owners. So if I, for instance, say that this SQL server should be made available to or that the owner should be Fluid Operations, then by clicking this operation here, I grant fluidOps the right, first of all, to use this this golden image, and to also use it in subsequent services that they define using their own service marketplace. So using this GUI, I can, in a very fine-grained way, define which organization gets to see what service and which products are available within those services. So next thing we're going to have a look at is how golden images, golden landscapes, and zones are being defined. So for this, I go back to this main service dashboard, and I go onto the IT as a service dashboard here. This first of all shows me a list of users, so I can very easily, for instance, see the test user here. I can very easily create a new user. Normally, so there's basically a small identity management system built in. Normally you would import them or you would do the user management in an identity management system like LDAP or Active Directory. But for quick setups, you can also just define the users here. Then there are golden images, which we can see here. And a golden image is basically a link to various templates, virtual machine templates. So you can, for instance, define something like an SQL server or a Windows system and point it to an Amazon AMI as well as an on-premise VMware image. So maybe let's go in here. We can edit this one and basically define which, on which data store and which virtual machine image is part of this golden image, which is then moved into the service catalog. The same goes for golden landscapes. We can also have an edit action here, and it's basically a list of golden images that make sense. So I can add new ones and also remove some from this list here. And last but not least, I can define the deployment zones, where I can say the development instance, for instance, is this a mix of compute and storage infrastructure, which is then this vanilla dev zone. So using these, there's also a zone creation wizard. So using these controls, it's very easy to set up the various products, which are then finally published in the infrastructure and landscape as a service that are a core part of the eCloud Manager product.